why do you apply different standards for a man? And I would argue, maybe because I'm a man, but I would argue the standards you have for men are a lot higher than the standards you would have for a woman. Why do you apply different standards depending on the gender when arguably if you date both, it's actually about the person?
Yeah, like, no, that's a really good point. I think because arguably it's just easier to be a man, and so therefore you're like, well, it's easier for you to get a raise.
Why is it easier to be a man when men?
I mean, the gender pay gap just says it all. And
okay,
it's really
but there's also a gap in like men commit suicide more.
Yeah,
men are dropping out of colleges more.
But that's toxic masculinity that men can't speak about.
So then why are we saying that there's like a patriarchy when men have it hard too? Like,
yeah,
why are you just said
you
just said women have it harder than men? But if women had it harder than men, like, then why are more
I didn't
men
say they had it harder. I just said it was easier to be a guy.
But okay, if it's easier to be a guy, then why do more men commit suicide?
Because they feel, because of toxic masculinity, which is perpetuated by both men and women, they feel like they have to be macho. And I don't subscribe to that at all. I'm very much like...
well, could it be possible that men have a harder life than women?
Yeah, of course it could be possible. Of course it could be.
Okay. So
yeah.
How dare you say that men have it easy? Why would a woman utter such nonsense? Wage gap. Well, if you did the dangerous jobs men did, if you were competent like men are, you would be paid the same. Men take on demanding and risky positions. Men still work longer hours and commute farther than women do. Men are far more likely to work in dangerous professions like roofers, firemen, police officers, miners, and soldiers. Men also suffer 94% of all job injuries. It's not easy to be a man. Women are lucky that they don't need to be perfect because they know men will still want them either way. But as men, we're in a constant struggle to be among the top 20% of men because of the high standards women and society have set for us. Regardless of a man's life not being rosy, I've never regretted it one time. I enjoy the process. It is what breeds strong men. Men also live in a world that is always violent. Starting at a young age, you are pushed to play activities that include hard contact, like American football, where being more aggressive is rewarded with praise. You can't cry, and if you are hurt, you'll frequently be advised to walk it off rather than being shown any sort of compassion. One of the biggest issues that men encounter is the notion that expressing any form of emotion is seen as girly, and that they don't want to be girly. Men are diagnosed with mental diseases that affect their emotions, like depression, or ones that originate from peer and social pressure, such as eating disorders, considerably less frequently than females. These are frequently ignored since you are aware that you are expected to persevere. Therefore, if you feel like your sadness is getting worse, you won't tell anybody. What if it isn't even that big of a deal? What if you do approach someone and they don't treat you with respect? Or what if the person mocks you? Men are frequently taught to bottle everything inside. And depending on the specific condition you have, that might be harmful or even fatal. That is why we have lots of school shooters, though the larger percentage are boys bred by single mothers. Okay, you think women have it harder than men. Let me burst your bubbles. Did you know that men and women experience the same mortality rates from prostate and breast cancer? However, 6 times as much money is spent on research into breast cancer. Men also make up about 85% of the homeless population in the US. Men get longer jail sentences than women for the same crime. While family law favors the woman at the expense of the man in divorce, men are more typically left with ruined finances and little to no contact with their own children. 24 out of the Fortune 500 companies' CEOs are female. In order to equalize outcomes without equalizing effort or merit, the state of California passed a rule in 2018 mandating publicly traded firms to appoint more women to their boards of directors. However, no analogous program exists to raise the proportion of women employed in coal mines, offshore drilling, or garbage trucks. When one parent is required to pay child support to the other parent, men are twice as likely as women to do so. Yet, unlike the disparaging term deadbeat dad, there isn't an equivalent expression that is utilized in society's general discourse for women. Deadbeat mom, perhaps. Men are more than twice as likely to become victims of violent crimes and are 3 times more likely to be murdered than women. Boys are schooled in a system of education that prioritizes women. Beginning in the early grades, girls have a better education in the classroom. Women presently hold the majority of associate, bachelor, master's, and doctorate degrees, and this proportion is increasing almost yearly. Every TV sitcom and advertisement portrays men as incapable of performing any task correctly, while women are praised and applauded. If you bring your kids somewhere in public, you're seen as a predatory pedo. While mothers who stay at home are powerful heroines, dads who stay at home are lazy losers. Women can treat us badly all they want, but when we respond in kind, we become monsters. If a woman gets angry with a man, it's his fault. If you and a lady get drunk and have a few drinks, one of you may be charged with assault. Women are not held responsible if they break up with a man. These women assert that men who dump women do so because they are afraid of commitment. It's fine to think a woman is overweight, but it's not acceptable to think a man is too short. Like Pearl said, men die by suicide 3 to 4 times more often than women do. With all this, you still think men have it easy. Think again, because from all I've said, men have it harder than women. Pearl really needs to start filtering who she lets into her space. This woman doesn't know jack shit about what men are really going through. That's all for today on Manhood. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe buttons, and also click on the notification bell to be the first to know when I drop a new video. If you find value in my videos, you can show your support through PayPal or Cash App. The links are in the description. See you next time, cheers.